In this video, we're going to talk about adjusting some of the print options in Microsoft Excel. In previous videos, we've gone over a few of the options by changing what parts of the screen we want to print. But let's dive a little bit deeper into printing. So right now I have O3 Contoso Potluck HR file open. And we might want to take this is just a sign-up sheet for a department of a company to bring in food for a party or for a get-together, some kind of potluck they're having. And maybe we want to print this out on a piece of paper so people can sign up on a table, and then we'll enter it into the spreadsheet later. So we can go to File, go to Print. And previously we discussed our different print options here in our settings. Now we're going to talk about some of these other things. So we're going to adjust our margins. The first step, we're going to adjust our margins. So if we want to be able to put this, maybe punch some holes in it or put a binding on it somehow, we may want to widen our margins. Right now we have normal margins. We're going to let's make 1 inch all the way around. So the top, bottom, left, and right margins would be set at 1 inch. So we're going to set it wide. And if you notice, our selection moved in a little bit. Maybe we also want to print it landscape rather than portrait. And we can also, the other thing we can do is with scaling. And the great thing about Excel, you can see how your spreadsheet is going to print on our, when it comes out of the printer by just looking at the preview pane here. So scaling, we can fit all columns on one page. If you have a whole bunch of columns and maybe you have 1 or 2 that are kind of hanging onto a second page, you could tell it to squeeze them all onto one page. Or the same thing with rows. If we have multiple rows that are hanging off into a second page, we can get them to squeeze up to the other page. Let's go to custom scaling options. So it shows us we have our landscape and scaling. We're going to adjust to, let's make it, let's see what 175% looks like. Click OK. And now it increases the size of the text. Since we only have 3 columns and we want to print it out for people to write in, we're giving them more room. Now, if we had a whole lot of data on our page, we wouldn't want to do this because it would push it onto multiple pages. But since it wasn't a whole lot of data or a whole lot of the selection on our worksheet, we can increase the size of it. It's kind of like putting it on a copy machine and increasing the, scaling it up or scaling it down. So we put it on custom scaling. And in custom scaling, you can also tell it to fit on a certain number of pages wide by a certain number of pages tall. And it's, it takes some practice getting used to scaling. Just play around with it and you'll probably come to something that will work for you. And then we can print this. I'm not going to print it because I'd waste paper, but we can go back to our document. Let's go back to our print. So File, Print. And if you notice, it remembers our settings from the last time we set this up to print. So it will save as long as you save the document, it will save your print selections or print settings.